The frosty winds of the North Sea howled like a pack of wolves, their icy fingers clawing at the sturdy longship as it sliced through the churning waters. On board, the hardened warriors of Jarl Sigurd Bloodaxe stood vigilant, their faces etched with the stern determination of men who had seen countless battles. Their destination lay just beyond the horizon, the fertile shores of the Anglian coast, ripe for the taking. Jarl Sigurd, a mountain of a man with a wild mane of red hair and a beard to match, stood at the prow of the ship. His eyes, the color of stormy seas, scanned the distant shoreline. He could already smell the smoke of the villages they would raid, hear the cries of their enemies, and taste the glory that awaited them. Sigurd was a man driven by the ancient gods, their voices whispering promises of fame and fortune in his ears. Beside him stood his most trusted advisor, Skald Hrothgar, a wiry figure with a mind as sharp as his blade. Hrothgar's knowledge of the sagas and the wisdom of Odin himself guided Sigurd through countless victories. As the coastline drew nearer, Hrothgar turned to Sigurd, his voice barely audible over the roar of the sea. "We make landfall soon, Jarl. The gods favor us this day. The Angles will be caught unawares." Sigurd nodded, his gaze never wavering from their target. "Aye, Hrothgar. We shall bring the wrath of Thor upon them. No mercy, only blood and glory." The longship glided smoothly onto the sandy shore, and the warriors disembarked with practiced efficiency. Their armor clinked softly as they moved, weapons glinting in the pale sunlight. The village ahead lay peaceful and unsuspecting, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of the storm about to be unleashed upon them. Sigurd raised his axe high, the polished steel reflecting the fierce determination in his eyes. With a primal roar, he led his men forward. The first cries of alarm rang out as they stormed the village, the clash of steel and the screams of the dying filling the air. Houses were set ablaze, their thatched roofs crackling and spitting embers into the sky. Amidst the chaos, Sigurd's gaze fell upon a young warrior, barely out of boyhood, who fought valiantly to protect his home. The boy's eyes, filled with both fear and resolve, met Sigurd's for a fleeting moment. There was a spark of recognition, a flash of understanding. But Sigurd's heart, hardened by years of warfare, did not waver. With a swift, brutal strike, he felled the young warrior, his lifeblood staining the ground. The battle raged on, the Vikings cutting down any who stood in their way. Sigurd moved through the fray like a force of nature, his axe cleaving through flesh and bone with deadly precision. His men followed suit, their ferocity unmatched. This was their way, their destiny, to conquer, to take, to leave nothing but ashes in their wake. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the village lay in ruins. The surviving villagers had fled, their cries echoing in the distance. Sigurd stood amidst the carnage, his breath coming in heavy, ragged gasps. His eyes scanned the devastation, a sense of triumph mingling with the ever-present thirst for more. Hrothgar approached, his face smeared with soot and blood. "We have taken much this day, Jarl. The gods are pleased." Sigurd nodded, but there was a shadow in his eyes. "Aye, but the gods are never satisfied. There is always more to be done, more blood to be spilled." Hrothgar placed a hand on Sigurd's shoulder, his grip firm. "Then we shall give them what they desire. We shall continue to carve our legacy into the bones of this land." In the days that followed, Sigurd and his warriors continued their campaign of terror, moving from village to village with ruthless efficiency. Their name became synonymous with death and destruction, a specter that haunted the dreams of those who survived their onslaught. Yet amidst the bloodshed and the glory, Sigurd could not shake the memory of the young warrior he had slain. The boy's eyes, so full of life and defiance, haunted him in his sleep. It was a reminder that even in victory, there was a price to be paid. One night, as the campfire flickered and cast eerie shadows on the faces of his men, Sigurd spoke to Hrothgar in a rare moment of vulnerability. "Do you ever wonder if the gods grow weary of our bloodshed, if they demand something more than just death and destruction?" Hrothgar's eyes, sharp and calculating, met Sigurd's. "The gods demand many things, Jarl. Blood, yes, but also honor, bravery, and the willingness to face our destiny head-on. We are their instruments, their chosen warriors. Our path is clear." Sigurd nodded, but the weight of his doubts lingered. He knew that as long as he drew breath, he would continue to lead his men into battle, to seek out the glory promised by the gods. But he also knew that with each life taken, a piece of his own soul was left behind on the battlefield. The next morning, as the sun rose over the smouldering ruins of another conquered village, Sigurd stood at the edge of the sea, his reflection rippling in the water. He felt the pull of the horizon, the call of lands yet to be claimed, and the promise of eternal glory. With a deep breath, he turned to his men, their faces hardened by the same fire that burned within him. "We move forward," he declared, his voice resolute, "for the gods, for our ancestors, and for the glory that awaits us beyond the next battle." And so, with the wind at their backs and the taste of victory fresh on their lips, Jarl Sigurd Bloodaxe and his warriors set sail once more, their hearts filled with the unquenchable thirst for blood and glory that defined their very existence.